How would you like to know how much money you have in your business bank account for Christmas? For a lot of business owners, the uncertainty of not knowing how much is available in the bank account for all of the things means that you're making fear-based decisions and scarcity-based decisions and short-term decisions for your business rather than longer-term business decisions. Now, why do I ask this question? Is because business owners are constantly thinking about money. How much money do I need to bring in? How much money do I have to pay wages? How much money do I have to pay for tax? When is that tax bill due? I'm not quite sure. Are they going to shut me down? Am I going to go to jail? Have I got enough money to do all of the things? And it can be very consuming when it comes to living your life as a business owner about all of the hours that add up that you're thinking about money. What I want to show you today is a platform, a tool, a software that I use called the Profit First Profit. Now, I am a huge advocate of Profit First. In fact, I don't have my trophy here, but I was the Profit First professional for 2023 as voted by my peers of Profit First professionals in Australia and New Zealand. So I'm a mad Profit First advocate, and the clarity that Profit First gives to your business is absolutely huge because we're separating out from that one big chunk of money and putting aside money for tax, putting aside money for wages if you've got staff, putting money aside for paying the bills, plus putting money aside to pay yourself and that all-important profit that your business should be making to show that you're a viable, long-term, sustainable business. Having all the money set aside means that you can then think less about money because it's there. And so your main aim is to then know that top line figure of what do we need to bring in so that all the rest of the numbers will work out. Now, as a Profit First professional, I've been using this system for about 5 years now. And what I find is the actual system itself is fantastic. It gives you that clarity that you need. But we want to up-level you and go that next level. So who am I? I'm Jodi Porteous. I'm a Profit First professional, CPA, registered tax agent, and all of the things, but actually I'm here to help you make your business better. So let me show you how we can do this. Now, I asked at the top of the call, how would you like to know how much money you've got in your bank at Christmas time? Here's the answer. By sharing my screen. Here we go. So this forecasting platform, forecasting tool, gives you a snapshot in graphical format of how much money you will have in your bank at any point in time. So I'm just going to run through these graphs very quickly. So this is a standard setup for a Profit First client, and it's actually my demo. So it's not real numbers, it's my fictional numbers. I treat GST separately. So I have GST included in the tax figures and not in its own separate GST bank account. So if you want that, then we can definitely work that for you. But for most of my clients, we have one tax bank account. Everything you need to pay for tax and for super is all lobbed into that one big tax account. And we break it down in this platform, how much it is and what timing you need so that you can get that forecast correct. Now with this graph here, the profit graph, I've for the first time been able to work out in advance what my profit share of my business is going to be that can come back to me as a business owner every single quarter. So under the Profit First system, we accumulate money in our profit bank account every single week. And then at the end of every quarter, we pay that money out, and it gets paid out to ourselves as the business owner. And we put a bit aside for long-term savings as well in what we call a vault, or a no touchies bank account. And that then gives you that peace of mind that even if income dries up for a period of time, whether that's a couple of months or a week, you've got some money there set aside to pay bills that you need to. So having that profit bank account is super important for that safety feeling of being a business owner. Now, moving on. So we can see here that this first quarter, making a profit of $4,000, that can come straight out. And then the next quarter, 1,398, because it was a different set of numbers. We had less profit. So the business, this platform is very scalable to what your business needs to be. Then we've got your tax. So money goes in, and then we pay a BAS, and then it goes out again. In, out, in, out. So you can see that regular flow of how that tax money is impacting your business. Now, we say set it aside in a separate bank account because you've then got that ability to see where those numbers need to be. Now, you can see over time, this one's going down over time. So there may be a point where we need to increase the percentage, or we're okay with that. So it depends on what your mindset is around tax, whether you're scared of paying tax or whether you don't like paying tax, as to whether you'd have a healthy buffer in that bank account or like keep it at a very zero balance as much as you can. So we work with you to find out what mentality you have about all of these different things as to how we set aside that money. Then the next one, all important, paying yourself. Most business owners don't pay themselves enough because they fear that they're going to take too much money out of the business and it's not going to survive. And a lot of what I hear coming out of my business owners' mouths is, I can live on less. It's okay. The business needs it more than I do. And you know what? If you set your business up so that you could feed the mouths of all your staff and not you, then go for it. Most people set their business up so that they can get an income out of it, either now or in the future. So having a dedicated bank account just for you, for your pay, to know that you're going to be paid from the business over a certain period of time, makes sense to me. Okay, and then yet again, we put buffers in place. So this one's increasing quite significantly. So over time, we could potentially give you a pay rise and make sure that that sits at a level that you're comfortable with. So it might be that you want to be able to cover 3 pays and you paid fortnightly. So we'd have enough money in that bank account for that, and then we'd change the percentages and put the money somewhere else. Or we increase your pay and keep it at a flat level. Now, the next one is the operating expenses. So we call it OPEX in profit world terminology, but this is your bills. This is the bills and the subscriptions and the annual insurances and all of those things that you need to pay. So you can see money going in, money going in, money going in, and then we've got a reasonably large expense coming out, and then larger expenses once a quarter coming out. So depends on how your business is set up and what expenses you have as to how your graph would look. For mine, I've got a big insurance bill comes out in February. So it plummets then in February. And so long as the plummet limit is above the $0 balance, then I'm happy with that. Absolutely happy with that. This final one here, the materials and is material and subcontractors. You can see here that we're running out of money in this account over time. So the zero line here, so we've run out of money just around November, December. And so for me, that means we've got to do a couple of things. Either we're paying our materials, paying too much, and we've got to change that, or we've got to change our percentage so that it's not the percent that we've got allocated in the system. We can put more towards that bank account so that it can cover those costs. So in this program, we can set that up. So this is the percentages column here, and I've got the same percentages running all the way through. But what you can do in your business is tweak them really quickly. And I'll make these a 10% all the way through, just so you can see what the numbers do. And I'm just going to drop the owner's pay down a little bit. So I went from 5 up to 10 for materials, and I'm going to drop from 50 down to 45 for the owner's pay because that was up. And we're happy with the pay that we're getting, especially if we can't afford to pay all the bills. So that's the mentality for this particular change. And so by changing this percentage without changing anything else in the background, so this program looks at what revenue are you expecting in, what bills are you expecting to pay, what taxes are you expecting to pay, how much money are you expecting to take out, all of those things. And what we do is then all we've done here is change percentages and being able to recalculate what does this look like for the business. So now instead of the owner pay being quite a steep uphill, we've flattened it out a little bit. So I think it was around $20,000 as the max on the previous graph, and now it's less than that. So it's about 16,000. And then our materials and subs, we now have stopped the rot, and instead of it being a huge down and we've run out of money by November, by allocating an extra 5%, we've then got the ability to keep all the money above zero, so not going into overdraft, for this bank account all the way through to July. So what I love about this program is the ability for us to go real world and say, hey, if this happens to our business, what's going to happen to our cash flow? If I make this decision and we bring in more revenue, how's that going to affect the cash flow? If we bring in this new advisor or consultant or business coach or new software to run your business from, how does that look? How does it impact the cash flow? And so looking at and playing with those what if numbers in a platform that's really dynamic and able to update and change and see those numbers very quickly means that you've got an opportunity to have a little bit of a crystal ball. And what if you bring in 5% more income by putting your prices up by 5%? How does that impact all the numbers? We can do a real quick change in the system, in the background, and it will flow through to these graphs and you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. Now, there's so much more to this platform than the 2 sheets that I've shown you. So I'd really, really love to give you an opportunity to ask some more questions one-on-one if that suits, or come back into the elevation training to ask about how you can set it up for yourself. I've got some really fun things coming up with this program in the next few months. So if you want to get in on the ground level and see how you can find out how much cash you've got in your business by Christmas, then please reach out. I'd love to talk to you. Have a great day.